So we have this tendency, very strong tendency, belief, I guess, as humans, that in order to be okay, in order to have experience contentment, well-being, these human aspirations we have, or if we put them in a spiritual, more spiritual sort of context, freedom, enlightenment, oneness, realization, awakening, all these things, God, um, that we need to somehow correct something about what's happening. We have to do something about our experience, essentially. Something needs to be different about experience. It's just this belief can be quite subtle, or it can be very overt. I'm going to somehow take this moment and this moment of experiencing and shape it in a different way, reshape it somehow, change it in some way, transform it, understand it, analyze it, modify it. And what I'd like to invite you to consider, but by exploring it directly, not just conceptually, but that nothing at all, nothing whatsoever needs to change about this moment. Nothing. There's no need. Consider right now that nothing about what's here, what's appearing, needs to be shaped in some way, controlled or modified or altered in any way whatsoever. So you can just completely relax any effort to modify what's appearing. And recognize that everything that's appearing is, of course, life itself. We could say just the expression of reality, isn't it? All the appearances, i.e. our experiences, what we label as perceptions, thoughts, feelings, sensations, and so on. Each one of them is, we can say, a particular way that this reality can present itself, but all of it is reality. All of it is this singular life, this singular existence, this singular mystery that shines forth as everything. Is shining forth as this very perception. This perception. And because it's shining forth as this moment of perceiving, in exactly the way that it's being perceived, precisely, it does not need to be one iota distinct from the way that it is. In other words, nothing needs to change. No experience is somehow more reality than another. No experience is somehow more the ground of being. These are all, we could say, synonyms: life, existence, beingness, the ground of being, reality, God, source. I mean, you can't say what everything is in its basis. But all of that's appearing is the appearing of, we can't say what's appearing, can we? We have all these ways to describe how this is appearing, but we can't really say what it is. So all of this that is appearing is the flow, is the unfolding of this indescribable, inconceivable creativity of reality. And again, because it is all reality, there's no need. Can you see, just let that sink in, that nothing needs to be different about this moment. At this very moment is the expression of infinite radiance. There's no correct experience to have. There's no There's no other place to get to. We imagine, and I think this is, I don't know, I would say one of the most common themes that comes up when I'm talking to people about this sense of somehow losing touch with this reality somehow. You feel like there's some glimpse into the wholeness of this, the singular, undivided nature of this, and then somehow some sense that it's been lost. But this cannot be lost. How can wholeness be lost? It is the whole. It is that which is inclusive of all things, this whole, this seamless whole that we call life. It can't be lost. It is what you are. It cannot be lost. You feel that there's no departing from this. There's no, how could this be lost when it is the only thing that exists? Every little rumbling, every little flicker of experience, every little describable seemingly or indescribable aspect of what's occurring is it. All of it is this miracle, this undivided miracle that looks like separation, that looks like differentiation, that appears as all these distinctive flavors of life and expressions of life. It appears as each one of us, the distinct beings we seem to be, with our distinctive bodies and minds and personalities and temperaments and dispositions and loves and inclinations. But we actually do not have, contrary to public opinion, we do not actually have autonomous existence somehow, that we've been pulled out of the whole and exist separate from it. That is actually not the case. We've never left our context. We've never left our ground, our basis, any more than the wave has ever left its basis as ocean, right? It doesn't. It's undivided. Feel that. Feel your life, what you would think of as your life, that may feel bounded in some sense and separate from something else that's outside of your life, and tell me if you can find separation. There is no separation. Feel, experience, and you find no division. You find no separation. You find a limitless, boundless expanse with no edge. This is the wholeness that cannot be lost, that is everything. And all experiences are its, right? It's shine, its luster, its it's like the fire burning gives off heat, right? Heat is the expression of fire. It's not separate from the fire. It is its expression. We are the heat of the fire of reality. We are its expression. We are not separate from it. Hence, it's impossible to ever lose this wholeness. Again, no experience brings us closer to the wholeness or could possibly take us away from the wholeness of reality, because every experience is reality, inseparable from it. So we can completely relax any effort to arrive somewhere else, to achieve some other supposedly better state or perception. No, this perception, this perception is the miracle. This perception is the ground of being. This always abides. We always abide as this. Even if we have moments where we feel like I'm somehow not abiding as this understanding, that I come to meetings like this to somehow remember and recontact or reacquaint myself with. Any moment, no matter how we describe it, is that ground of being. In all the different seeming forms and descriptions it can take. Everything is completely free. We have this sense, I was a meditator for many years, of like I could somehow have a focus, became my primary kind of thing to attend to, and then I would have this sense of kind of drifting away somehow from that focus, and then instructed to bring it back to the focus, and somehow the drifting was some sort of error, and I was to bring it back to like where I was trying to focus it. And attention is drifting all over the place. That's its nature, is to, even though it can feel as if we can intentionally direct it in certain ways, the attention is always attending to reality. The attention is made of reality. In other words, there's no drifting away from reality. There's no drifting away from the ground of being. Like, oh, now I'm feeling the ground of being. Oh, then I drift off into some fantasy or thought. It's like you just drift off. If there's any drifting, it's just drifting. It's like reality drifting into reality, drifting into reality, drifting into reality. There's no drifting away from reality. And there's something about seeing that, recognizing that, that is, well, we can't quite say, but it is, has the sense, the whiff, the perfume of freedom, of relief, of relaxation, of ease, of openness, of vitality. It just has that flavor, the flavor of this wholeness, this seeing this wholeness. But it's very paradoxical, because the moments where we feel as if we're not seeing the wholeness is the wholeness too. So there's no, again, there's no losing it. Just seems like it can be lost for sure. Like if life were a motion picture, um, being projected by the projector of reality, it's not like some parts of the picture are more the picture than other parts. They're all, right? It's all made of the same indescribable stuff. So there's not something to achieve in that sense, not some state to get ourselves into, that this is unconditioned by the particularities of how it's expressing. It's free to look and feel and seem to be anything. Needless to say, this perspective that I'm sharing, which is just one perspective, of course, runs very counter to our conventional notions that to find what we're looking for, we need to transform the moment into that which we're looking for, right? If we're looking for well-being, we need to somehow shape the moment into a moment we think of as well-being. If we're trying to find freedom, we feel as if we have to shape the moment, the perception that's occurring into a perception of freedom, right? If we're looking for ease, shape the moment into a moment of ease. Or we're looking for peace, right? Or we're looking for, and what I'm inviting us to just consider is that that's not actually, that we don't have to reshape the moment into anything. But the moment is perfectly God, just as it is, perfectly freedom, perfectly ease and equanimity and openness, just as it is, without having to be transformed or modified in any way. And very, very different feel to that, isn't there? You're already home, because there's only home. There's no departing from home. We've never been cast out of the garden, actually.